up against very few highly ranked opponents on his way to the national title, but national champion nevertheless. Already has one loss on the year. And then Brendan McCrone in that position battle. Very different style than Nick Buesgens. How do you feel he matches up particularly with Robinson?
Well, with Robinson, there's a lot of explosiveness. There's a lot of quickness. Those that have had success against Brendan McCrone have had success by getting to the legs and finishing quickly. If you get into scrambles with McCrone, you're playing his game. If you go underneath, if you're on bottom, you're playing his game. Brendan McCrone is so tough on top. But, unless somebody chooses bottom to get to top, you've got to get a takedown. And for McCrone, he's had a lot of success getting to legs over the years against top-tier opponents. Finishing when he gets in on the legs has been the difference between success and failure. Now Robinson is deep in on a leg, but not a clean finish right from the get-go, so now the scramble is on. And we'll see how McCrone does here. You see already through the crotch, looking to maybe cut the corner, sitting heavy on the head. Robinson just wants to keep that forward pressure going. And now he's got his head high. And McCrone is so good in these scrambles. Gets that head right back down to the mat. Continues that crotch lift, but he pulled him on top. Now the scramble. With Robinson trying to peek the head out the side. These are situations, and you see them obviously more at the lightweights than you do at the heavyweight. We're going to get a stalemate there called by Angel Rivera, our head official tonight. Ray Santiago, the assistant official, off to the side of the mat. But those are the areas right there where McCrone wants to be to try and get his points in this match.
That was what his head coach Tom Ryan was talking. What you're just saying, getting into scrambles and winning scrambles is going to be key if he's going to.
And McCrone has also had some weaknesses, fending off good, quick leg attacks.
I want to be interested to see how this plays out with McCrone. He's undefeated entering today, including against his teammate, Nick Buesgens.
And 125 is certainly an open position for the Ohio State Buckeyes. And I say open. There are several 125-pounders on this roster. It's a battle of two. Not everybody is in there, although there are good guys in that room that may start for other D1 NCAA teams. But with McCrone, and as you mentioned, he won the head-to-head matchup against Buesgens when they wrestled during the regular season. It was a one-point match. It's teammates that see each other in the room every single day. That's not always the best indication of who the best wrestler is. A lot of times it is, but not always. And so you've seen Buesgens, and he's been at 133 pounds his career until this year, dropping down to 125. But McCrone has had wins against very high-level guys. But he's also had some losses that kind of make you scratch your head a little bit about what his ceiling is. For Buesgens, he's had some good wins as well, but at 133 there were things where you thought, what's he going to have to do to take that next step for consistency to really establish himself? Both of these guys are big 125-pounders, McCrone and Buesgens. They both cut hard, and they're different body types as well. Brendan McCrone is so long and lanky, and Robinson's the same way. These body styles are pretty similar here, and Buesgens is more compactly built, a little bit more powerful. And now you've got McCrone on top. This is exactly where he wants to be. He is a sponge on top. Robinson wants to get a quick escape here. And now we are into a scramble, and Robinson in a pretty good spot if he can free that leg. He got to his feet quickly. McCrone tried that standing cradle, wanted to roll through. He is really good with his cradles. And we're going to get a stall call here on McCrone. That's not necessarily the worst thing in the world for McCrone to get that stall call. You don't want to get hit for stalling, but it gives him a restart on top, which is where he wants to be. If that situation played itself out farther, it's more likely that Robinson scores, gets back to his feet, than McCrone is able to get the turn there. So this is actually giving up the stall caution is probably a win for McCrone. And that was a caution for a false start.
I was going to say, to your point, McCrone, he does. If he can get on someone, get on top, that's where he wants to be. That's where he's at his best, and that's where he's going to have his best chance against Robinson. And national champion a year ago.
Well, and Robinson has McCrone scouted because immediately off the whistle, his hands went in tight to catch that leg coming in. McCrone wants to ride legs. Everybody knows it. And Robinson did a really good job of fighting that leg initially, and now he's going to turn it into a reversal. And that's just knowing your opponent. And listen, Everybody knows McCrone does that. He gets legs in a lot and turns a lot of people. So what's the difference? Winning that battle.
I can just see just the poise, too. That was what his head coach had said before the match we visited with him, that when he competes, Vincent Robinson, he brings a ton of confidence. And you can only imagine how much it's grown in the training since that national championship. And he knows he's going to get everyone's best match against him. And right now he's got the best of Brendan McCrone.
And looking for another takedown. McCrone trying to fight it off there, just couldn't quite do it. Robinson, as we were talking to both coaches, talking about the quickness, the explosiveness, and the power. You don't often talk about power at 125 pounds, but relative to body size, Vincent Robinson is a strong 125-pounder.
He's been in complete control here, too, the first two periods, which was one of the keys for NC State. They had just nightmare. They woke up with some, cold sweats after remembering what Ohio State did to them with the lightweights last time, getting out pins in a row, and Robinson slamming the door thus far. McCrone way down.
Yeah, that's a big first period, jumping out to an 8-2 lead. Now, you feel good about that. You're up 6 points. And now you go to the third period where McCrone's going to have to get a takedown to get to top. McCrone on top is dangerous, right? Robinson did a good job on the 2 starts, not letting the legs come in. Now for McCrone, you've got to get to your offense. You've got to find a takedown to get on top. If you can't turn, you're going to need several takedowns here.
Where would you go if you're McCrone?
Well, you've got, and that's been one of the questions, right? What is the bread and butter attack to get to when you know you need a takedown? And for McCrone, that's been one of the challenges in his career, is finding that thing. Now, right now, it looks like he's trying to pick up the pace a little bit and maybe put Robinson on his heels, maybe by a stall call. But when you're down 6 points, even in the 3-point takedown era, you're looking at, if you just want to go takedowns here, you've got to get 3 of them.
That's it? That's all?
Seems like a tall task indeed. And now the hill gets steeper.
Yeah, Robinson on the pounce. I said when he scores, he can accumulate points fast, quick attacking, and he's done just that.
Down to just 35 seconds to go. Now, if you're McCrone, you gotta let it fly. You got to look for something big here. Feet to back. You're outside of that margin, really, of even a feet to back move gives you 7 points, and that's not going to cut the mustard right here. You got to put him to his back and hold him there and put his shoulders down.
Yeah, it seems like McCrone, every question he's had, every trial he's made, Robinson's had the answer. And with 10 seconds to go. NC State issues a statement to start. Now, that might have been the expected result with the champion, the number 1 in the country, but Brendan McCrone unable to be much of a match for Vincent Robinson.
That's a major decision for Vincent Robinson. He controlled this really from the get-go. Getting that takedown early, able to finish after that first scramble, I think set the tone and just put him on a path to victory tonight.
By major decision, Vincent Robinson. Now here comes a match that this is going to be interesting. We've been waiting to see who NC State puts out there, because Ben Davino, who will be wrestling the 133 for Ohio State, has been nothing short of fantastic this year, undefeated, number 2 in the country.
Well, no doubt about it here. Ben Davino has been on a absolute tear all season long. He's a guy that sat last year. Boy, you see him there, slapped the mat right before the match. He is ready to go. He is fired up. He loves competing in this sport. Right to a 2-on-1 and trying to take ground. Troy Holman ranked number 31 And like Ohio State at 125 pounds, they're trying to figure this weight out a little bit. Holman.
Well, they had the addition of Zach Redding, who transferred in from Iowa State, and he was able to get the better of Holman earlier in the year, but it's been a little bit tough sledding for Redding, opened the door for Holman. If you want a chance to prove yourself, this is it. Had a good one against Shaver last time out against Rutgers and wasn't able to close the deal. Davino, a whole different challenge.
Well, Shaver's got wins against both of these guys. An Ohio product, Shaver, wrestling at Rutgers, and he's one of the top wrestlers at this weight class. But you're looking at Ben Davino, ranked number 2 right now with what he's done, 12-0 on the season. 4-time state champ out of Illinois. Ironman going on this weekend. He was an Ironman finalist. It's the top high school wrestling tournament in the nation. Going on right now up at Walsh Jesuit High School in Northeast Ohio. And you see the wrestler was an Ironman finalist, Ironman champion. You know that he's got the ability, or she, to run through a gauntlet. There are no easy matches there. Just like in D1 wrestling, there are no easy matches.
And at the U.S. Open, he ran through NCAA finalists, NCAA champions, coming off of a phenomenal summer. I felt that it really challenged the redshirt year, not wrestling, having to observe and train. It was huge for him.
Got that leg shelf, but you got to get that left arm loose to get that takedown. See Holman doing a good job keeping that overhook on the arm, and now there's the takedown as Davino is able to cross the hips and throw that far leg in. And so that secures the takedown.
Almost a clap of relief here in Cavelli, too. As Davino starts to assert himself, under a minute to go here in the first.
Well, he's tough on top. There's no doubt about that. He's got that arm bar run out to the side. And it's a good crowd here at the Cavelli Center tonight.
The blackout expecting to sell out. Can't imagine Tom Ryan would be that disappointed with the attendance. Outstanding.
Just over 20 seconds here left in the first period. It was kind of a slow start for both wrestlers, feeling out process, but Davino asserted himself there with the takedown. And this is a guy that, I mean, as much as everybody loves Jesse Mendez here at Ohio State and what he does for this program, one of the things you always think about is who's next? Who's the next leader here? Who's the next big dog? Well, you got a pretty good candidate on the mat right here, right now. I've stopped into practice in preparation for our last duel here, and Jesse Mendez holds the middle of the mat. This training facility, the Jennings Center here at Ohio State, fantastic training facility, the envy of almost everybody in college wrestling. And there are 5 mats in there, and every wrestling room you walk into, the wrestlers have their spot on the mat. And Mendez is right dead center. And just outside of his spot is this guy, Ben Davino. And I asked Jesse, how long did it take Davino to get to the center mat? He said he walked in day 1 and set up shop there. And basically, when you walk in the room and do that, you're daring people, kick me out of here, right? Get the takedowns, get the things to get me out of the center mat, make me earn my way back in. Well, he's still there.
Well, you see his approach to wrestling, too, when Tom Ryan said that some guys, you just do it because you can. You do it because you have the ability to do it. You might not have the desire to go out and take on the top competition, but that's not Ben Davino. Ben Davino loves wrestling, and if you're going to make the statement of what you just said, go right to the middle and then stay there, you have to love that fight because guys are going to try and knock you out.
And we talked about NC State being the class of the ACC. There's a hands to the face right now, warning there from the referee. And NC State has been the cream in the ACC, no doubt about it. Ohio State wrestling in the Big Ten, it's a different environment. And they have been near the top of the Big Ten and the nation for year after year. One thing that has been consistent with Ohio State, they've had that guy, that guy that everybody kind of looks to as the man, whether it's one of the guys in the coaches, a couple of guys in the coaches' chairs down there. As a matter of fact, Jay Jagger certainly was that, 2-time national champion. Logan Stieber right down there as well, a 4-time national champion. Then you go to Sammy Sasso here for so many years, and now it's Jesse Mendez. And maybe Ben Davino can be the next guy in that line.
We'll see NC State has one of those types of guys we'll see later at 165.
No doubt.
The true freshman, Will Denny.
Now Davino here trying for his second takedown of the match. He's got that leg elevated. Well, roll through attempt there, but Davino's got the cradle locked up. Referee sees it. There's the takedown. Now can he turn that cradle into back points? Yes. Can he turn back points into a fall? That'll be the question. We got a stoppage.
Right at the end of the period.
The period ended, and I think we've got blood as well.
Saved by the bell and maybe the nose.
I don't know. I have not seen any indication of back points, but I'm sure there's a discussion going on at the table between the referees as to how much time there was when there were swipes, if there were 2 counts or not. We'll go back and look at the replay here. James Rivera right there on the spot. He got 1 count. He got 2 counts, but now he held 2, so there should be 2 back points. And he is at the scorer's table right now, the referee. We'll see if that 7-0 becomes 9-0.
It was almost like boxing, where you have the. So it was saved by it.
So the referee made 2 counts, but as they looked things over, they said that this second count took place after time had expired. And excuse me, we've got a correction. This is not Troy Holman. This is Redding down there wrestling. We had a late change on that.
We said it was going to come down to the wire.
Yeah.
We said it was going to come down to the wire.
More so. So Redding with a quick escape here. He got a relatively quick escape in the first period as well, but Davino right back on the attack.
So tall task though for Redding with Davino. That seemed like the second period. It just went. That was his game. It was his match.
Yes.
Redding 1 for 4 in duels this year.
Well, Redding coming in from Iowa State. It's another quality program. The Buckeyes will take on Iowa State a little bit later on this month. But he comes here, and you talked about the fact that they're trying to settle on this weight class. Holman ranked number 31. They've been kind of swapping back and forth. Holman's had the better results so far, but Redding's got an awful lot of experience as a grad student here.
And 2-time NCAA made 2 NCAA appearances back in 21 and 23.
And again to the face there, Davino kind of looking at the referee. Had 1 warning in this match already, so the next one would be a point.
The 6th year trying to make a statement against the redshirt freshman. Because Ready now there's has to make a big move, and Davino's been so tough.
Davino's been on the attack most of the match, and now Redding, obviously with time running down, has to pick up the pace a little bit. Davino's not easy to score on, so that's a tall task certainly. And right now, no riding time as a factor. It's a 6-point match. That no near fall, that's the difference right now between a bonus point and not having a bonus point.
Saved by the clock.
You can see Davino there trying to make that last push for a takedown to get back into bonus territory. Not quite able to make it, but he comes out victorious regardless.
The first win of the duel for Ohio State has kind of gone chalka right now for the most part, with NC State getting the first win, Ohio State now, and we'll see what's coming up at 141. We mentioned earlier, but the ACC, oftentimes the power is Virginia Tech, but NC State, they got an awful strong showing. With more on that, we have Sarah Sharp.
In Intermat's most recent rankings, NC State had 8 wrestlers ranked in their respective classes, with 5 of those wrestlers sitting within the top 10. The Wolfpack leads the ACC conference with the most wrestlers in the top 5, including Vincent Robinson at number 1 at 125 pounds, Matthew Singleton at number 3 at 174 pounds, and Isaac Trumbull at number 2 at 285 pounds. Back to you guys.
Just missing that top 5 is our next wrestler from NC State, Ryan Jack, who's number 6 in the rankings, 3-time NCAA finalist, All-American a couple years ago. Pretty good, but he's going up against, yet again, Jesse Mendez.
Well, he doesn't have any wins against Mendez, 0-2 at the NCAA level, and he's got a lot of company in that regard, but Ryan Jack is trying to get over that hump here against Mendez. Not easy to do, certainly. Jesse Mendez, 2-time reigning national champion from Crown Point, Indiana. But, for Ryan Jack, you've seen Mendez, you've felt him, you've got all the data that you need to try and make something different happen tonight. This is not an easy environment to go into to try and get that done, but that's the task at hand.
Yeah, and last time that they met, it almost went the distance, too. It was 6-6 for a while, and then a late pin by Jesse Mendez to stay unblemished against Ryan Jack. They went back to wrestling in high school, and now they'll square off in the middle of Ohio in Covelli. What's going to be key for Jack here? Because it seems so hard to unlock the puzzle that is Jesse Mendez.
Well, that's the thing. You've got to have a perfect game plan, and you have to execute it perfectly, and you have to hope that you can find a crack in the armor that isn't often there against Mendez. You've got to go with what you do well, and that was a really good duck there. He just kind of disappeared on Mendez as Mendez forward pressure kind of took him over top of Jack. But there again, if there was a crack in the armor, maybe it was there, but it closed so quickly with Mendez regaining his position, feeling everything exactly where he needed to feel it, that sort of thing, when you have almost zero margin for error, it can almost be demoralizing. Okay, because you don't even realize until the moment's gone, right? Oh, man, that I was underneath. I changed my level at the perfect time. I just wasn't able to get that outside leg up, turn the corner, and turn it into either a takedown or a scramble situation where I could have gotten to it. And now Mendez is right back in a good position.
I think, how many times does that happen to Ryan Jack, too, where it's there, but so fleeting?
This is an unkind sport because you can do everything right. You can be right on the cusp, but if you don't win, wrestling basically it comes down to wins and losses. There are very few moral victories on a wrestling mat. But now Jack in on a shot pretty deep. Mendez has actually given up a takedown here at the Covelli Center this year, a couple of matches ago, and, well, he didn't take kindly to it and wound up with a tech fall at the end of that.
He bounced. I thought it was interesting talking to Tom Ryan, asking him what makes Jesse Mendez so special, and he pointed out 2 things. One, his discipline, which is almost a superpower for him. The other one is his great capacity to suffer.
Well, now he wants to make Jack suffer. He got that takedown, immediately kicked Jack out to go back to his feet. This is a psychological tactic as much as anything else. Could he ride? Could he turn? Maybe, but that's not the game plan. The game plan is, I just took you down. I'm immediately going to let you out, letting you know that I do not fear you on our feet at all.
Yeah, Tira, take your point. We'll do this again.
And immediately had forward pressure, taking Jack to the out-of-bounds line. Well, what you were talking about there, the discipline, the mindset of Jesse Mendez. I've been on the call for a lot of these matches with Ohio State, being here in Columbus. Very fortunate to work here with BTN Plus. I've called Jesse the dead-eyed killer an awful lot. And now he's got that outside, well, he had the outside cradle lock. Now looking for that far ankle for the takedown on the edge. Doesn't have it yet. Crowd wants it. He's trying to bring Jack back in. There's the 3 for the takedown. Mendez almost is out there like he doesn't have a heartbeat. The moment is never too big. He is calm. He is moving forward. He is just focused on the task at hand. And I would venture to guess that right now Jesse Mendez doesn't know there's a soul in this building.
He's just out there fly fishing the Olentangy. Don't recommend it this time of year, but Jesse Mendez, when the weather gets cold and the mat heats up, he does his work, and he leads 6-1.
It's a really good dominant period there for Mendez, and for Jack, it's a tall hill right now. We talked about that earlier, that every takedown you get. We're going to start with Jack on bottom, and Mendez showed the referee an optional start sign. And so he's going to give Jack his point, but he's going to make him earn it with some pressure. And again, that's psychological wrestling. I'm not just going to show the referee neutral and let you stand up on your feet. I'm going to give you your takedown, but you're going to have to earn it. And now he is turning on the Jets. Mendez wants to put on a show here tonight and leave no doubt against a top 6 opponent.
Ohio State made that statement earlier this year at the national duels, and Mendez on the prowl.
That takedown, it was a go behind in essence, but that takedown was just a bull takedown. He just grabbed his man, kind of went behind, but then just snapped him straight down to the mat and just wants to impose his will upon his opponent here, and he does. And that takedown makes it a second period tech fall for Jesse. They went out of bounds. I was behind on the score. I thought that takedown was going to get it to 15.
It's close.
That's right. Jesse pulled I thought he was still in bounds there when the referee blew the whistle. I got ahead of myself on the score. Now it's a 10-point match, so you're looking at 2 takedowns for a tech fall for Mendez yet. And Jack diving in on a leg, just trying to slow this down a little bit.
Give him a chance to breathe a little bit.
Well, Mendez isn't going to have it.
No,
that's just another force takedown. Just feed hips all the way through your opponent, break him down, break his grip, break his will.
I mentioned his demeanor's like he's fly fishing, well, he's like a boa constrictor. To a roar at Cavelli, Jesse Mendez, the best in the country at 141. Mr. Buckeye, dominant.
That was taking somebody to school.
We talked about momentum to begin this broadcast, and you saw Vincent Robinson had the better of McCrone, Davino had the better of Redding, but Mendez, that's a whole different animal what we just saw.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That was after about the minute-and-a-half mark of the first period, when Mendez got his second takedown. You could see that there was just a shift in the match. Mendez felt that he had reached the point where he had things in control and he was not going to back off a bit, and Jack was not able to kind of counter that and get himself back into the match.
Now, Ryan, the first 3 matches all went as expected. Here's our first one that could go any direction. 6th-ranked Ethan Stiles, 7th-ranked Coy Buesgens.
Yeah, Buesgens comes in here out of Minnesota, redshirt sophomore. Both these guys redshirt sophomore. Stiles in his first year in the Buckeyes singlet. Buesgens ranked 1 spot below Stiles, and last time out, Stiles had some, it looked like in the third period, ran out of gas a little bit. He wants to change that here in this home duel. You always want to finish strong in front of the home crowd. So for Buesgens, I think maybe he just needs to push the pace a little bit.
Well, here's the freshman in the lineup last year and took his lumps a little bit. He's come back supercharged this season.
Now, Buesgens lost in the NCAA tournament to Dylan D'Amelio in the first round. D'Amelio finished on the podium for the second time as a Buckeye last year.
Ethan Stiles. There was so many puns when talking to Tom Ryan, but there's 2 different styles on the mat today between what Ethan Stiles does and Buesgens.
Yeah, for Stiles, there's some funk in there. There's some good scrambling. For Buesgens, he's just got to finish clean. Now, it was kind of the same talk that we had at 125 pounds with Robinson. Get to the legs, Don't linger down there. Get to your points as quickly as possible.
Buesgens always says they're so composed.
That's a good level change there from Stiles, and now we're into a scramble situation. Buesgens has that ankle trying to pull it back and put it on the back of Stiles' head. Now Stiles looked like he was trying to duck his head under the leg there of Buesgens to continue the scramble in a different position. Now he's across the hip, looking to cast over and maybe get that takedown, but Buesgens doing a nice job keeping that ankle pinned. Crowd wants the takedown call there, and they may get it here.
The referee's going to make him wait for it.
Now Buesgens momentarily there looked like he was on his backside with Stiles around the waist, but didn't get the call. And now we're into an awkward scramble, and the referee's going to stop the match on a potentially dangerous. Stiles looked like he was in a spot to score there.
I think the referees in black and the bleachers, they disagreed with the one on the floor. Don't have as much say.
Well, Stiles came very close to a takedown there.
A question for Ethan Stiles, so much from Tom Ryan's perspective, is can he finish?
Well, now it's Buesgens in on the shot. Stiles trying to fend that off. It was Buesgens' shot, but Stiles winds up underneath. Now in on a shot position, trying to turn that corner.
Stiles, an All-American, fending off Buesgens.
Stiles that time again in a better position to try and score. We got the stalemate call from the referee now under 10 seconds to go.
Go figure. We mentioned that there are three of these you talked about in the open that could really go either way, and right now, dead even between the two, although the spectators might disagree.
Yeah, there's an opportunity there, but Stiles starting on bottom, looking to do the first scoring of the match. Cut back there from Buesgens. Now for Stiles here, you just need to keep moving. But because, we talked about his scrambling ability. Now he's put himself in maybe a bad spot here. He was trying to step over both of those legs over Buesgens' top leg, and he almost put himself in a spot to get turned. But there was enough looseness in there that he slipped out, now leading by a 1-0 score.
Took almost 4 minutes to get our first point. But Ethan Stiles, compared to a cat when he's in a scramble, he's just so nimble.
Some guys just have that thing, that body awareness, that as much as you train, there are some people that are just born with a different sense of where they are in space and what's around them. And those tend to be the best scramblers. You can practice, you can drill, and these guys all do. They put themselves in these positions on a daily basis. Every wrestler at the D1 level and, going down to the high school level, you train for those things. But some guys just have that little bit extra where they can kind of feel where a body is going, not where it's at. And that's oftentimes the difference between scoring and not.
Well, we've seen that a couple times here at Buesgens when it feels like he's got him in a key spot, and then Stiles just wiggles his way out.
Now there in the first period, there was an awful lot of scrambling. Here in the second, it's slowed to a snail's pace.
Buesgens 5-0 in duels so far this year. Ethan Stiles 4-0. So something has to give in this very tight battle here at 149.
Buesgens takes down to try and even this thing up with an escape. If you're Stiles can turn. How committed he'll be to this ride, we'll have to wait and see. Riding time right now is a non-factor. And it will remain so.
All even.
First period, there were a lot of level changes and shots. In the second period, here so far in the third, it's been a lot of heavy hands and getting into ties.
It almost seems like it's the reverse of when you feel out your opponent. They start off the fireworks, and now they're trying to figure out
There's a good shot from distance from Buesgens, but now we'll see if Stiles can turn that scramble into points.
And this is, on paper at least, the legend of Stiles. This is where he's at his best. He's able to avoid that first little thrust there from Buesgens.
Now Buesgens, does he have that cradle locked up?
This is close, though. Oh, look at this.
No points awarded yet. And they are going to get into the danger count now. There's the takedown for Buesgens. Stiles, though, if he can hip over, could be in a good spot. Challenge brick comes in from NC State. They're going to want back points here. I don't think we've had a reversal awarded for Stiles yet. We have to have. I didn't see it come from the official, a reversal awarded.
Now it'll be stopped.
Scoreboard still says 4-1. Now that challenge brick, I think NC State is going to want not only the takedown, but they're going to want back points from that situation. So when they go under the hood, I don't know if Sarah's down there where she could stick her ear in where the referees are and what they're discussing, but they can review the entire sequence of events here, going back to where things were challenged. So this will be very interesting. To me, it looked right there, and even that's the reversal situation there.
There's the brick right before.
So the 3-point takedown, that was a 3-point takedown awarded for Stiles.
So, yeah, there's where those three, that was right after, I think, what North Carolina or what NC State was arguing about.
Okay, so now that makes more sense. Originally, I thought that the referee awarded the 3-point takedown for Buesgens.
It happened in such quick succession, too.
So that's why I didn't see a reversal, because there would have been no reversal under the referee's call. I don't know if we can get another look at that sequence.
Because you're right, it looked like it was potential takedown for Buesgens, and then Stiles flipped it, got the 3 points, North Carolina State challenge. And I'll tell you what, Ryan, if this is a sign of a beacon of what the rest of this match, at least on the takedown. But here's another look at it.
So here we've got Stiles on his backside with the takedown being awarded to Stiles.
Yeah, so I think it was.
I think
just before that.
So I think, I'm not sure. And then Stiles comes over top. As we were talking about in the moment, Stiles was in a good spot for a reversal, and it looked like he got it there. So I'm not sure if Angel Rivera just held up the wrong hand on the original takedown award. Let's listen.
Here's the ruling.
They're going to keep the takedown for Stiles.
But it did. It looked like Buesgens got the takedown, and then Stiles immediately flipped it into a takedown for himself. That's what it appeared, and here it is.
There's a roll through. I mean, obviously this is a huge call in this match. Had it gone the other way, had it been a takedown and reversal, look out now. They're going to be – that's a bad back bend. And there's a reversal for Buesgens, but Stiles was able to get the leg out before time expired.
Two points too late.
Had it been a takedown and reversal the other way, then the match goes the other way because a takedown worth 3, a reversal only worth 2. But as it turns out, Stiles gets the win. Scrambling is exactly what it came down to.
That's his strength. And North Carolina State took 125. Ohio State's taking the next 3.
Is getting to ties, getting to underhooks, and scoring off of those. Cannon has done a great job all year long of scoring from everywhere. So he's got a wide variety of offense. He's going to want to stay out of those ties and let it fly and score some points.
That seemed like one of the key. You mentioned it, but the avoiding those underhooks because Arrington's looking for it.
can see trying to dig that hook in on both sides now, Arrington.
Cannon 6-0 this year. Arrington 5-2. Those are in duels. Arrington's overall record the same. Cannon 8-1 overall, the Denver, Colorado native.
Arrington redshirted a season ago, so these two have not seen each other in head-to-head competition. In fact, there's only 2 matches tonight where the wrestlers have ever faced off in NCAA competition.
Including the heavyweight matchup coming at the end, a fitting capstone for this top 10 duel.
Cannon has really burst onto the scene, ranked number 4.
How fitting for a Cannon.
Well, you know, you explode onto the landscape of NCAA wrestling. As a recruit, I mean, people knew who Brandon Cannon was, but he wasn't a dynamite recruit. Missed an entire year of high school with a tumor in his spine, and had to overcome that. But after making his presence felt last year, finished a little bit shy of his goal a season ago, but this year he's been off to a tremendous start.
Including beating the reigning national champion at the weight, Antrell Taylor at Nebraska.
Those national duels for Ohio State, you want to talk about announcing your presence, the way they ran through that field. Wyoming, Minnesota, Nebraska, Iowa defeated them all. That's where I think Ohio State kind of put the rest of the nation on notice that this year is going to be a special one for the Buckeyes. Actually, Flow Wrestling has Ohio State ranked number 1
I was going to say, in some
as
metrics.
A tournament team. Penn State has been ranked number 1, I don't know, for decades now.
Forever.
And deservedly so. And they had a couple of guys that, one guy who hasn't competed this year that took away a lot of kind of the ranking points. What happens when they fill in with another ranked guy, because Penn State's going to. One guy's out, the next All-American steps in, it seems like. And, that's the difference between, generally speaking, the top 5 teams and the rest of the field. One of the reasons, and slot somebody else in there, and may not be quite to the same level, but is going to be competitive in every single match.
I think on that Flow Wrestling rating, there would be one of the counter arguments would be that Ohio State, now they've had the big wrestling opponents. They've been able to get those matches against ranked teams. Penn State hasn't yet, but the theory is, well, it's coming. They're going to be up there at one point. But Ohio State, a loud statement, especially by Cannon.
Well, funky scramble here. Cannon's able to peel that arm off the ankle. There's the takedown. But Cannon, it's just dangerous from everywhere.
Ranked number 4 in this class.
Yeah, he's got that leg ride in. He's just going to finish the period out on top, just putting his weight on his opponent, try and take some of the starch out of the socks. Now Jackson Arrington heading into the second period.
So 3-0, and Brandon Cannon leads after the first. Now, a question here for Arrington. It's just 3, but how would you recommend he approach this second period? He's going to start on top.
Well, that's going to depend on how comfortably he is in the top position. If he's got a ride, if he's got a turn, well, you can get 4 points on a turn. Cannon hasn't been ridden much. We'll roll through there, and Cannon, there's where he's dangerous. Able to catch that head. There's a reversal and some back points. Did he get him or not?
Not yet.
Did not get the 2 swipes from the referee. He got 1, but he also gets the 2 points for the reversal.
He might got 1 1/4.
And we talked about it earlier. The feel of a wrestler, knowing where your body's going, not necessarily where it is right now. Cannon's got it.
We mentioned in the very first match of the evening with Vincent Robinson, just the confidence that he had, where it seemed like anything McCrone was going to try, Robinson knew he had an answer to it. Here in this second period, that's what it feels like with Cannon.
One of the things that's been talked about a lot in recent years at the NCAA level and even at the high school level is wrestling free.
I hear it all the time.
Wrestling for the sake of wrestling, not looking for a win in this moment. You're wrestling to compete and just put yourself in good positions and wrestle free without pressure. And you can kind of see when a guy like Cannon gets that reversal the way that he did, he wasn't worried about, if I miss this, I may wind up getting put on my back. He went after it because it was there, and he's wrestling free.
We mentioned in the Mendez Jack where the window will be there, but it's so small.
Yes.
And you see when you're just relaxed as Cannon was. When he saw the window, boom.
Well, he didn't even see the window. He saw the window coming.
Ah, there you go. Yes. And right now,
he felt the possibility of a window.
And right now, he's got the possibility and the actuality of a 5-0 lead going to the third.
Yeah, if you see the window, you're too late. That window is
true.
That window's
That's
closed.
True.
It's become a wall very quickly.
A neutral decision for Jackson Arrington. Needs to make something happen here.
In a situation where you're down 5-0, yeah, you'd love to get that escape point, but he hasn't shown the ability to get out from underneath Cannon. Boy, that's a great little crawl shot there from Cannon. He's got his man stretched out, wrist to that far ankle, and that inward pressure trying to turn it into a takedown. A good roll through there from Arrington, not giving up on the situation.
Arrington, his work ethic is outstanding. Just in the room 7 days a week, always battling, taking on some of the best guys at NC State. Great leaders as mentors. He's up against it, though, with Cannon.
Now you can work 7 days a week. You can go John and Paul and work 8 days a week. If you don't find a way to get things done, the results are not going to be there.
Into the red shirt junior. With a minute to go, they've seen more consistency out of him this year. This has been a tall task tonight. Cannon in peak form as he's been just steadily improving over the years, but this year just really incredible.
Well, and for Cannon, right now bonus points are within reach. Riding time is locked in, so right now it's a 9-1 lead in essence. So if you're Cannon, you have to make sure you don't give up any points here. If you score a takedown and secure it, so much the better.
Well, be it as it is, if nothing changes here, if Arrington doesn't get anything, this will be the largest win of the day thus far for Cannon. Oh, correction. Mendez was 21-6. Scratch everything I just said there, Ryan. Still, nevertheless, impressive by Cannon.
Well, he's still attacking. He wants those points. But attacking in a way that he's not necessarily putting himself at jeopardy. Because, again, a takedown is great, but you don't want to give up any points and lose that major decision.
Well, NC State didn't get a slow start, but Ohio State has dominated the end of the first half. So you go to halftime, 9-1 advantage.
Well, and certainly the hype has been warranted, right? At 125 pounds, you had a returning national champion, Vincent Robinson. He took care of business, clean takedowns. That was going to be the key, not getting into the scrambles to allow McCrone to get where he is best. And then Davino at 133 pounds, just workmanlike victory at 7-1, downing Zach Redding. And just another impressive win for Davino at 141. You want to talk about impressive. You're talking about a number 6 ranked Ryan Jack getting tech-falled by Jesse Mendez, who moves to 3-0 against Jack in his collegiate career. He imposed his will and put on a show for this Buckeye faithful crowd. The 149 controversial call there, that right there, you see the points awarded to Styles when it looked like maybe Buesgens was in the better position. You see the brick come in there. Call stood. Styles gets the win at 149 pounds. And then Brandon Cannon at 157 finished off the first half in pretty dominant fashion with a 9-1 major decision.
Yeah, Brandon Cannon, it felt rather unchallenged against Jackson Arrington, with especially that second period. He really drove away, but you see our scoreboard. Mendez was just purely dominant, figuratively, along with the literal. But the potential they see in him, where they're like, oh man, this guy could be really good. And they need him to be outstanding to flip this match against Ohio State.
4-2 on the season. And he cuts a large figure. He seems to have quite a reach advantage, Denny, on Patty Gallagher, and he's deep in on a shot right now, right from the get-go. Gallagher trying to fight that off, heading toward the end of the mat. Denny trying to pull in. If they go off here, I wouldn't be surprised to see, well, now they're back toward the gray circle, and action's going to take them out of bounds. Takedown is called.
Oh, there are big 3 points there for NC State. And the freshman, Denny.
College rule, any part of the body that is not on the mat but in the cylinder, that imaginary line around the outside, any point in that when control is gained is a takedown. Gallagher quickly to his feet here.
All right, Gallagher, a big change this year from last year. He struggled a bit last year, but he was preparing to wrestle at 157, then had to get the call up to wrestle at 165, and this year he's off to a strong start in part because he spent the whole summer getting ready for 165.
It's always a lot more fun to bulk than cut.
That's for sure.
I've been doing a lot of bulking the last 10 years or so, but not in the same way. Waistband expanding rather than the biceps.
Slightly different. Slightly different. Who's counting?
With the forward pressure here from Denny in the early going has been impressive. He is taking ground from Gallagher.
You just think the pressure on those freshman shoulders of Denny. It's even more so the literal of Gallagher, the experience of Gallagher, the youth of Denny. But the Wolfpack, they need him.
Out of bounds they go, but I tell you what, we've used this word now several times. Impressive for Denny with how he continued to wrestle there on the edge, keeping that right toe inbounds, letting the upper body work to see if he could secure the takedown near the out-of-bounds line. For Patty Gallagher, he's going to have to find a way to counter this forward pressure and get on his own attacks. A tap shot there just to kind of reset the table a little bit, get Denny thinking about something else, because from the whistle, Denny's thought has been take ground, get on the attack. So Gallagher, even with that kind of half shot there, that wasn't necessarily designed to result in a takedown, but just get something else on the mind of this young freshman.
Also, let him know you're there. Hey, we're in this.
And Gallagher, as the more veteran wrestler, don't be surprised. Well, Denny's back on the attack, rolled through by Gallagher. And now the scramble on the edge, and they are out of bounds. But for Gallagher, don't be surprised to see him try and use that forward pressure by Denny against him if that opportunity presents itself. Duck under, something of that nature.
Is key just the timing of when you use it against him? Because I would imagine if you're Gallagher, you want to let him feel some confidence that he can overextend.
You've got to feel when that window is coming open. Again, going back to that anticipation. So that's, anybody that's spent any time on a mat understands that's what setups are. Getting your opponent to do something, knowing there will be a reaction to it that you can then turn into your own offense.
Well, setup or not, NC State and Will Denny lead after the first period 3-1 on the strength of that takedown.
Here, try to get to the offense, but that doesn't get you a match win. You're still going to have to find some offense somewhere.
And there it was. 7 seconds was the time it took for him to get that quick escape.
Heavy hands there from both wrestlers. Gallagher, his second shot attempt, both have come from distance with not much in the way of a setup.
For Gallagher, we mentioned the whole year he's had to prepare for the 165 weight, but he also, a big difference for him, he's been healthy this year too. Part of the struggles last year, he didn't get to really wrestle until December.
Probably going to see a stall call here pretty quick on Gallagher with the way Denny continues to make Gallagher wrestle with his heels on the edge of the mat. And Gallagher's doing a nice job. Trying to turn the table here, but Denny now has the leg near the out-of-bounds line. Gallagher has been wrestling at the edge, but he's done a nice job of not getting pushed out of bounds. Back to the center now.
They're almost beyond out of bounds. They're out of bounds, the out of bounds.
You get to that exposed floor, and that'll immediately bring a halt to the match.
Still 3-2.
Best penetration shot for Gallagher so far in this match. Denny almost got into danger there. There's the takedown for Gallagher.
I think it goes back to what we were watching earlier, is Gallagher just kind of buying his time with the youngster.
Well, now
as Denny gets away.
So that's big for Denny to score that escape with short time, because now Denny goes down in the third period and escapes. Now it's a tie match. Gallagher really wanted to ride that period out, but wasn't able to do so. Denny got his hips free and got his escape.
Well, the coaching staff for NC State, they rose in approval of that escape.
And there again, Denny just trying to push his man out of bounds, and Gallagher did a nice job to circle and stay in, make sure there was no stall call against him. And now we go to the third and a one-point match.
Yeah, this pivotal 165. You just look at what's coming up ahead for NC State, and there's going to be some matches coming up that are going to favor the Wolfpack, but they need to be able to keep it closer, whittle down this deficit. Denny in position to do so.
Well, and if you're Patty Gallagher, right now riding time is exactly even. If you can build a minute, well, then you can afford to give an escape. Looks like that's not going to happen.
He's going to give the escape anyway. All level at 5. Both these wrestlers, they've shown us something here in these first 6 minutes or so, 5 minutes.
Shot by Denny, and again near the out-of-bounds line. And there's going to be the stall call on Gallagher. But what he did in the first two periods to avoid that stall call is important, because right now, had he been hit earlier in the match, all of a sudden it's a lead for Denny. You really have to like, if you're seeing Will Denny wrestle for the first time, the confidence, the mat awareness, the acumen, this kid's got a bright future.
I think you just look at him, how his approach. What's your point? If you had to guess what class he is, the one you would not pick is freshman.
Right. True freshman.
Let alone true freshman.
Gallagher in on the shot, though. There's that level change I was talking about earlier. Great hip in there from Denny, though. Gallagher trying to let it not go out of bounds and finish the takedown. He's got both legs. No, he only had one. Now he's got the far leg, but not enough.
They're trying to pull him back in. Denny, and there it is.
Out of bounds is the call, and no stall warning. Action is the call from the referee. The crowd cannot believe it. They wanted not only a stall, but a fleeing the mat there. But Gallagher did what I was talking about earlier. He changed his level and disappeared. There's we get to look at the replay. There's that flip out of bounds.
So it stays 5-5 to the disdain of this large crowd. And the elation of the NC State fans watching.
Absolutely.
Can't forget about them. Out in Raleigh and all over the country. Oh, look at this, right at the end.
Time expires. Overtime coming your way.
Well, how about that? We said it was pivotal, Ryan, and if it's pivotal, overtime. So fitting. It almost feels like this is the match, too. Not only for here at 165, but overall.
Yeah, for NC State, if they want to get back into this thing, and you know that they do, this is a must-have. Gallagher, on his last two shots, has used that inward pressure for a quick level change and penetration. He's done that twice in a row. We'll see what Denny has learned from that. Denny continues to push the pace. Pressing in near the out-of-bounds line, and out they go. And that's
a point for NC State, and Will Denny via stall.
Well, you see the replay there, and clearly Denny was taking ground.
Trent Hindley, and it is Kharchla, who is no slouch himself, but this is one of those even ones that could go either way, and on paper slightly favor NC State.
Kharchla ranked 5, Singleton ranked number 3. These guys have been around for a long time. Kharchla, grad student, Singleton, a redshirt junior, and through all of that, they have not faced each other.
That was an odd little twist of the story, and part of that was that Singleton wrestled at 165 as a freshman, so they missed that opportunity, but you would have thought surely they would have come across each other.
Kharchla spent time at 165 earlier in his career as well. It's just one of those oddities that they've not crossed paths.
Another little oddity of why they didn't cross paths, Kharchla was recruited by NC State. They really liked him out of high school.
Kharchla's dad, Moran, is a noted wrestling trainer here in Central Ohio.
A great wrestler himself, too, before that. And probably leads to Kharchla's his great technical prowess, which Tom Ryan says he thinks he's one of the most technical wrestlers in the country.
Both of these guys are very, very difficult to score on. So, of course, you expect this to be a low-scoring match heading into the third period. Who knows? We may wind up with a 14-16 Donnybrook.
Man, what if we ended up with a one score decided by a stall?
Boy, that doesn't happen.
That'd be crazy.
When does that happen?
I definitely don't remember. Surely it wasn't 3 minutes ago.
I don't think I've ever seen one. Oh, wait. Hand fight continues right there in the center of the mat. Boy, good penetration there from Kharchla. But again, now you're getting to that position where both these guys really have sound defense. Kharchla trying to continue to rotate. Got to the outside a little bit, but Kharchla not able to get both hands on that leg down on the mat. What Singleton was able to do, getting Kharchla's right hand off his leg while he was on his hip, was, I think, the difference between Kharchla getting the takedown there and not.
Well, this is also, there are a few names that we've had tonight that are very fitting. There's the difference in styles between Ethan Styles and Buesgens, but also Matty Singleton is really good on the mat. So you get him down the mat, he's excellent. He's right in his comfort zone.
No doubt about it. And he's long and lanky, and Kharchla's more stocky, powerfully built. Contrast in body styles as well. And, you know, we talked about Paddy Gallagher in the last match and how he has really been beset by injuries throughout his career. The same is true for Kharchla. Back in on that single leg. Now he's got it elevated with both hands on.
He's going to run out of time, though. End of the first period, no score. And we're looking at that 1-0 that you predicted.
And this could be where the match comes down to here. If either one of these guys is able to start off their period on top, riding long enough to build up a riding time point. Both guys good enough on bottom. You anticipate both will be able to get their escape. How long is it going to take?
Singleton, he's going to get the first crack at that.
Now for Singleton, just enough forward pressure there to keep Kharchla on his hands. Kharchla with that power able to get back to his feet momentarily. A little tilt opportunity. Kharchla's shoulder's not exposed, but now you've got a little hip separation, and he's going to try and go for two and get it.
There goes the 1-0. What a move there by Kharchla.
And a quick escape on the other side for Singleton, and so it is a 1-point match.
And remember, Singleton, he will have the opportunity to pick who's starting on bottom, trying to get that equalizer.
Riding time not a factor here. Singleton was able to build up a little over 30 seconds before that reversal. Kharchla whittled it down to 27.
Singleton undefeated in duels this year. He's won 80% of his duels during his time at NC State. Native of Georgia.
Good shot, clean finish from Kharchla to go up now 5-1. That is the cleanest takedown finish we have seen so far in this duel. Excellent setup, good execution. And now Kharchla going up by 3 points with 15 seconds left in the second period. He doesn't have to score again in this match. He can hold his position, and that's one of the things that he is best at, just being in the right position at all times. He doesn't have to expose himself. He's gotten a reversal. He's gotten a takedown. But if Singleton goes bottom and gets off of the bottom, he is a takedown away from taking the lead back.
Well, statement thus far by Kharchla on Ohio State. Feels like NC State's perfect scenario. At 165, they did so. But 174 is one they felt very strong at. And right now, it's Ohio State that leads, and Singleton a little quick. Or caution against Ohio State, rather. Critical 2 minutes here for Matty Singleton and the Wolfpack. If not, Ohio State might be looking to do what they did to so many teams at the national duels.
Kharchla has the ability to ride against a lot of opponents, but he's not shown an ability to hold down Singleton so far today.
I said Singleton is so crafty, too.
Even after a reversal and the takedown, Singleton still has the riding time advantage, but that's just for the moment. 3 points for Kharchla on another quick level change and shot. He has been clean so far. And even though he didn't have to get another takedown, he saw that opening. And the veteran
saw the window before it was open, as we said a few matches ago.
Well, and that's good situational awareness. You know that your opponent's coming after you. You know that pressure is going to be in. And so if you can time up that pressure, you're in a good spot to score.
These are both All-Americans. Singleton finished 7th in the country a year ago. Kharchla looking to go to his 4th NCAAs this year, depending on how the rest of the year plays out.
Kharchla again with a shot. Extended a little bit, though. Not in a great spot to finish. 35 seconds left in this match. It'll take more than a takedown.
Going to take a couple shoulders placed to the mat. First time they've ever met.
20 seconds left now in the match, and this has been a pretty dominant. It's only a 4-point match, but for Kharchla,
dominant given the circumstances.
Yes, absolutely.
2 top 5 wrestlers. And Kharchla to a rising standing ovation. They call it their fight song here in Ohio State. It's the Buckeye Battle Cry, and that's what Kharchla unleashed against Matty Singleton. NC State's in some trouble.
Kharchla delivers in a big, big match in front of the home faithful at the Covelli Center. There's the flex. He is fired up and ready to go.
184s, a matchup of former teammates. Next. Yeah, from Ohio State's Tom Ryan's perspective, he said that emotion might not be your friend here. You want to be very workmanlike, wash that away. And that's for both sides, where Don Cates, his teammate with North Carolina State, Don Cates wasn't wrestling with the program in the summer. He had left the program. He was going to go work in the real world, as it was described. And then they called him to bring him back in, said, hey, we could use that at 184. Don Cates said, I'm up for it.
Fischbach looking for that takedown near the out-of-bounds line. The action continues as he is still in bounds, trying to fight it off.
And he's got his heel.
Now he's got the other. Oh, boy, nice job there from Cates to kick that leg back under, but I think Fischbach's going to secure this thing here. There he does. That was interesting that, basically what Coach Papalizio said is we had to re-recruit him. Going out, you're starting your life post-college. I don't know how hard he had to be talked back into coming back to NC State to wrestle, but certainly it's a guy who made the decision in his career that, okay, my time here is done. Dylan Fischbach's our 184, and then all of a sudden he wasn't, and the conversation changed.
And Casey used to wrestle at 165, so
yes,
that might have been part of the appeal was, well, you don't need to cut that much, and you get to come back and compete.
With Matt return there, Shane Sparks somewhere smiling from ear to ear.
And it sounded like a lot of a mutual respect on Fischbach, where NC State, they said they wished him well. Glad he's doing well with Ohio State. I wish he wasn't true. They wish he wasn't doing as well right now.
Right.
Location.
Well, after that win for Kharchla, Ohio State up in this dual meet pretty significantly. Favored here at 184, favored at 197, and then heavyweight by the rankings is a coin flip. So you're really going to have for NC State something break your way a couple of different times.
Yeah, they need some magic here. They really need something good to happen at 197 with the freshman Howle, or what, two true freshmen competing for NC State. We saw what the first one did, which was pull out a victory and relish the boos, of which were plentiful. Fischbach, a native of Ohio. From the Buckeye perspective, they thought NC State did a great job with them.
1 minute remains in the period. 1 minute.
Kate's showing some life here, only down 2. Under a minute to go here in the first.
Again, Fischbach looking for that takedown near the out-of-bounds line. He's got that there and getting that. There's the takedown. By being able to pressure in, he really sneaks up on you.
He'll bite you.
A pretty dominant first period here for Fischbach. Kate's trying a little roll through there. Fischbach has built his riding time up over a minute now with 15 seconds to go. He just wants to finish on top right out this period and maintain that riding time and a 6-1 advantage. Looks like he'll get it done with a flatten out of Kate's.
I'll tell you what, mission accomplished for Fischbach. Dominant first period.
Fischbach takes the down position. Couple of duels ago here against Kent State. Fischbach was the man of the match, the MVP of the duel for the Buckeyes. 7-2 so far. And Cates with a mat return of his own. Not quite the elevation Fischbach had in the first period. And because he's in a visiting single, he doesn't get the same kind of charge out of the crowd either. Fischbach's going to get him to their hand clap due to his escape.
It's kind of interesting. You look at just what Fischbach, considering the history with NC State, it felt like no one really knew what to expect out of this one. And barring some big change, there's quite a few teams that were highly ranked around the country that have been in the same spot NC State's found themselves in tonight.
Plenty of time left here in this match for Cates, but he's going to have to change something certainly because he's not really had anything resembling an offensive attempt.
If you could whisper in his ear and say, try this, what would you recommend?
Sprawl, because that was a really good shot there by Fischbach to get in on the takedown. His third takedown of the night.
He's
that was a well-timed question, by the way.
Right. It's all about timing. It's like real estate. Location, location, timing, timing.
But, I mean, Sprawling's not going to win in the match, right? He's going to have to get to something offensive. First, he's got to get back to his feet here. He's down 9 points. That is a tall task, even with a 3-point takedown. But for Fischbach, he's the one. You go back to that match at 165 pounds. Will Denny for NC State did a great job from the opening whistle, creating forward pressure, putting Patty Gallagher on his heels. Fischbach has done that here, not with the same kind of drive, just with his positioning of having Cates not have any ability to get to some kind of offense.
And almost 2 minutes of ride time for Fischbach through 2 periods. Right now,
time it's not locked in, but it's getting close. And so you may even have to concede a riding time point, but you've got to get every point that you can.
That's not an enviable position to be in. Just trying to equal out riding time by getting an escape.
No, it's not. And, there are, the metrics
almost
try to kick away, but Fischbach did a really nice job there changing his level and getting back in on the leg. And does he have that Turk in? Trying to turn those shoulders as well to get some back points. But right now, again, that riding time is up to 2:25, and now it's locked in. And again, you're in a position here if you're Fischbach, you don't have to change anything right now. You can keep that Turk. Well, it looks like it slipped out now. But again, you're in a position where you can continue to ride hard here. You've done your job if you're Dylan Fischbach. You've put 3 takedowns on the board. You've got your riding time. There's 1:04 left in this match. And your opponent hasn't shown the ability to stop anything that you want to do. So you don't have to take risks. You've got a major decision right now. If you wanted to try and go for the tech fall, you're going to have to put yourself in some jeopardy, try and get a couple, 3 more takedowns.
I think I just took a scan down the 2 benches to look at it while the wrestlers are feeling, and you just look at the demeanor of the NC State wrestlers that have not competed yet or have previously competed, and they just look like what in the world has this been? And then the Ohio State wrestlers just look as relaxed and calm. And
well, so far, you've got NC State's got 2 wins. They got 1 expected win. There's another good lift and mat return from Fischbach. And they got 1 upset win. But they are down 12 points heading into this match at 184 pounds. If Fischbach holds on here, there's a stall warning on the bottom man. If Fischbach wins this match, it's going to put the duel out of reach for NC State. And then it's just
coming into today, and then you just see what Ohio State has been able to string together.
Another stall call. That'll give another point to Fischbach. But, we talked about this before the broadcast. We talked about it in the open of the broadcast. The range of outcomes for this duel were pretty wide.
It's huge.
You could see, just based on it just goes strictly by the rankings. Fischbach finishes off a very impressive 12-1 major decision victory here over Don Cates. And that will secure the duel for Ohio State as they go up 22-6. But you look at the rankings on paper, it could have been a blowout for Ohio State, or NC State with some upsets could have won the duel. As it's turned out, Ohio State has held serve.
Well, there's still 2 really good storylines to look at these upcoming matches. As we will have with the freshman Kason Howle, who is effectively holding a spot for a transfer state. Because if you look at unsettled positions, there's 2. 125, 197. And so can Geog really just take a hold of this spot? And that's what Ohio State staff is looking for.
Luke was a very highly rated recruit coming out of high school, Lakewood St. Ed's, Central Ohio native. But this is a guy that, if he reaches his ceiling, he probably holds this weight class. But he's had some injuries. He has had performances where he has not been consistent. And Seth Shoemate, another highly rated, carved in stone at this weight class for Ohio State.
I think that also underscores kind of the luxury of Ohio State when the whole conversation is 1 spot, effectively. There's the 2-man battle at 125, as we mentioned, but we're just like, well, we just need someone to get the big moment.
Right. And in both of those weight classes, 125 and 197, whoever wins that is a threat to be on the podium at the end of the season, a luxury.
And for NC State, Jason Howle, their plan is to redshirt him eventually. But he's filling in. He's wrestling in place of Brophy. He's 3-3 in duels.
This is his last event tonight. Coaching for NC State. He's taking over as the coach at IMG Academy down in Florida. So he'll be leaving the Wolfpack after tonight. Not the way he wanted to see his brother's final match with him as a coach, though.
And not to peel back the curtain, I was going to use that story during the Ryan Jack one, and it just the way that match went, it's like I might as well wait a little bit. But yeah, to your point, when you have that moment, and you think from both Ryan and Kevin Jack's perspective of this is their last hurrah, and what NC State was expecting how this duel was going to go, it's been the opposite.
Yes. Yeah, things have gone kind of sideways for NC State. Ohio State has imposed their will in several of these matches. Geog doing that with that first takedown here at 197 pounds. But, again, we talk about the room for all these programs, what Ohio State has, their depth, their coaches. NC State certainly has those in the room, making sure that the next generation of Wolfpack wrestlers is ready to go, and they continue to compete for ACC titles, and they put people on the podium at the end of the year at NCAAs. It's a very, very good program there in Raleigh.
We've got quite a few contenders, as we said, and I think to underscore just how this match has gone, you look at that team score there. NC State, very well deserving of being in the top 10, and their wrestlers very deserving of being ranked as high as they are. Just this Ohio State team this year.
Excellent pressure there from Geog, turning a takedown into possible back points. Nearing exposure.
It's close.
He got the one swipe. Now he's going to get some. He's got the full 4. Now he wants the fall.
The freshman Howle taking a deep breath.
Well, you credit the freshman for fighting off his back there. That was pretty tight from Geog.
Looked pretty bleak for a little bit there.
But that was an excellent job from Luke getting into that penetration and then feeling the opportunity for back points. That's another one of those areas of wrestling where there has to be some anticipation. When a takedown goes from being contested to being imminent, looking for that next level, looking for are there back points available here, and where do I need to be to capitalize on them? On the defensive end of things, that is true as well. You know when you're about to give up a takedown, and you have to, at the right moment, bail from your defense of the takedown to your defense of not giving up back points.
I was thinking, you have to, from the Tom Ryan perspective, the 20-year head coach for Ohio State, this has got to be the type of performance he's hoping to see from Geog, too.
Yes, no doubt. He's not taking a step back. He has continued to move forward here against this freshman. And Kason Howle, I mean, this is a put-together freshman. This guy, he's going to redshirt this year. At least that's the plan. But this is not going to be the last you hear of him. High school phenom, 4-time state champion in South Carolina. High school record of 2-16-1.
They said that in due time, he's going to be tremendous. One of those future stars of the program for NC State. And now Geog's been doing outstanding, but you can see what they're seeing. I think you have to makes you wonder what we've seen so far from Ohio State. What's the next? How do they keep building from what we've seen not only through the Nationals but tonight against every top 5 team, every top 10 team that Ohio State's faced this year? They've steamrolled.
Well, the opportunities are going to continue to present themselves because they're at the collegiate duels coming up on December the 21st, and they're going to take on Little Rock, and then they're going to take on number 3 Iowa State. So they're going to have an opportunity to test themselves again against the best. And you look at the Big Ten schedule this year. They've got Indiana at home, then they go on the road to take on Minnesota and Nebraska, then 3 straight here at the Covelli Center. Wisconsin, Michigan, and Iowa, and they finish up with 2 road duels, one in Happy Valley against Penn State. That, if things stay as they are, is going to be a number 1 versus number 2 matchup, and it certainly is one that every eye in the wrestling world is going to be on February the 13th. And the Nationals, of course, follow the Big Ten tournament March 7th and 8th, and the Nationals March 19th through the 21st.
I wonder if Ohio State can continue these results, how many doubters they'll turn into believers as an actual contender against Penn State, as imposing and powerful as those Nittany Lions always are.
Certainly it's going to be very difficult to unseat Penn State. And oh, by the way, Ohio State's not the only team that's going to be gunning for that.
They're not the only ones, that's true.
You know, I mean, Iowa is going to have their say. Oklahoma State's going to have the Nebraska's a continually great program. But right now, the standard is the Nittany Lions. Until somebody knocks them off, they're going to remain that. Third period, optional start here. It's just a very workmanlike, dominant first 2 periods for Geog.
11-2 lead here early in the third. And Geog is almost pushed into the first row. Hear more about before that match.
Good job there from, I mean, you saw Howle trying to take ground there, impose his will. Geog felt that right away and just changed his level and took the shot. That elevator out of bounds, back to the center they go. But boy, you can see good things from both of these wrestlers. Geog being the veteran, imposing his will, but Howle not taking any steps back here.
When you're in a moment when you're looking back, especially from the NC State perspective, you're pointing out, here's the good things. Here's where we can work on. The Howle just getting out of that pin situation.
Those are the little wins that you look at. And listen, Howle's not giving up on this match yet.
No, not at all.
There's 46 seconds left. He's putting that inward pressure because he wants to look for something big. He wants to find an opening for a throw, something feet to back. Geog in on a shot here, looking to finish strong, and he will put together another takedown well into major decision territory here. Now an escape.
A margin 11 right now.
Yeah, a couple of takedowns away from a possible tech. Not a whole lot of time to get that done. But
well,
yeah, so for the NC State coaching staff, Geog trying to finish off with another takedown here. 5 seconds to go. There it is, the takedown. And with the riding time, he's not going to have enough for riding time. He's only got 41 seconds. So it'll be a 14-point margin of victory for Geog. Well,
dominant
escape there at the end.
But I almost feel like for NC State, that was one that could have been worse. But Howle hung in there, but Geog overwhelming.
Yes, he was a force there from the first period on. Luke Geog with a big win against Carson ahead of him. Both of these guys are national championship contenders. They have matched up once in their career at the NCAA tournament last year. Trumbull got the win, ending Feldman's season. Both were dealing with pretty significant injuries at the end of the year. Both are in the last duel against Bellarmine. With a dominant performance, a tech fall at heavyweight. We'll see what he can do here tonight.
Oh, here's one where you just take that overall score and you just crumple it up and dump it, because these two, as you said, this could be a national championship preview.
Contrast in body styles here as well. Feldman, stockier, more powerfully built, and Trumbull is a tall heavyweight with a lot of length.
See that brace on Trumbull's knee. His head coach described it as that knee was totally shot last year. It got torn up in the quarterfinals against Hendricks. And then Trumbull's view, and Trumbull's mindset was, well, I have to get it fixed anyway. I might as well just keep rolling this as far as I can.
Got an unsportsmanlike bounds line, and they can't challenge it. Pat Popalizio, though, certainly wanted to give the head official his opinion on the matter.
And no challenge breaks. No, no problem. I'll let him know anyway.
You don't throw your vocal cords out there.
No, also with Trumbull, he was the alternate for the Olympics too, which is a rare feat nowadays. Here in the NCAAs, there aren't that many around the country that can say that or are still competing.
Finished runner-up to Kyle Snyder in the trials. Of course, Snyder, the former Buckeye heavyweight. Put together a spectacular international career, and now Trumbull looking to finish that takedown. He's got it. Up 3-0 here in the first period.
An early statement from Isaac Trumbull, the 6th year, native of Nebraska. For sure, and Nick Feldman, he was described very level-headed, extremely level-headed on and off the mat. He's going to need it now.
Quick sit out, but there again, that's again the length of Trumbull throwing a leg in, which is not a common practice at heavyweight. Trumbull is not built like a typical heavyweight, though. It looks like a 184-pounder that you just click the expand button on your screen.
Yeah, it looked like in Madden, where you just
enlarge it.
Yeah, just keep making it a little bit bigger.
And now he's got Feldman spread out down on the mat. That's a tough spot. Feldman, though, with that power, right back to a sit-out. And again, Trumbull does a good job throwing that leg across just enough to get the pressure turned back over, and Feldman back on his chest. Different challenge in that position at heavyweight than it is at the lighter weights. You've got a lot more humanity to try and move off of you.
30 seconds remaining.
And this is, this match is a long way from being over. Sit out, turn in from Feldman, gets back to his seat. Gets back to his feet, rather. But one of the coaching areas Ohio State's going to pick up from this exchange is what Feldman needs to do on bottom there to avoid those boots coming in once he gets to a sit-out position.
And that's a category that they've already been working on him on, that they felt they've seen a lot of improvement in, too.
Yes.
Works very closely with Bo Jordan as we go to the end of the first period. Just a 2-point margin right now.
Bo Jordan, the heaviest of the coaches on the. Now Feldman on top to begin the second period. Trumbull very quickly to his feet, is able to get out and go up 4-1. Feldman, for a heavyweight, has a pretty good attack rate. He attempts a lot of takedowns per match, and he's going to have to do that to get back into this one, no doubt about it. So far, in the first period, it seemed like the length of Trumbull was giving him some trouble. He's going to have to find a way to get past that head-hands defense and find a way to the legs.
I wonder if that, you're thinking back to a year ago when these met, and it was a Trumbull victory. Just that, how do you handle that length when you're not as long? You don't have those pterodactyl limbs.
Well, you have to find a way past. I mean, what Trumbull can do now, when he reaches those arms out, you make contact there. It's a long way from that position to get to those legs. So you have to get some lateral movement sideways or some downward snap pressure there to get that opponent to come back up and clear the way to the legs, because that's Feldman's attack. He's not a guy that uses a lot of upper body type stuff. He's got shots. He shoots a lot from distance, but again, in a situation like this with such a long opponent who's got hands that can get to your shoulders before you can get to his legs, that makes your distance shots much less effective.
That's a long way to go, especially when you have the full attention of Trumbull. You almost have to shock him somehow.
Yeah.
And move his eyes.
Trumbull's been just holding more ground here in the second period. He was more aggressive in the first.
He's got that lead, and he's grown it. Now, Feldman likes to get a chance to get an escape point coming out of this, going into the third period, but it's still a 3. The lead is 3 for Isaac Trumbull. Trying to paint the silver lining for NC State in what's been a tough night overall.
Interesting decision here for Feldman, and he's going to take neutral.
Oh.
So a
It is
takedown here
interesting,
ties
yeah.
the match, whereas an escape and a takedown, well, there's the shot, but also Trumbull's got riding time right now, so that's another reason he was able to be effective on his feet. Feldman's in on that shot, but there again,
Trumbull's got him locked too.
Trumbull's got locked in the crotch, and he's able to create leverage, even from distance, because of how strong and long he is. Feldman able to keep that hip to the mat. And you see there with Trumbull able to reach underneath and keep a hold of that ankle for Feldman, make sure that Nick is not able to create any forward pressure or momentum, and now it's just back to your feet.
See just some of the defensive wrestling here by Trumbull too, where Feldman was just right there. Took his shot, and Trumbull was able to just effectively stall it out in a good way.
It's true at all weights, but more so at heavyweight. You can manage a lead. Trumbull certainly has, I don't want to say been passive here in the second period, but less active. Now he's in on a shot. Feldman looking to go behind there, has the leg elevated.
Trumbull trying to hang on.
A lot of time, but not a lot of room. And out of bounds is the call.
Does Feldman have any late magic? No, he doesn't, but Ohio State overall dominant. Just